As a wizard, would you like to shield companions and banish foes?
Find out if the Abjurer Wizard subclass is the right subclass for you. What's going on, YouTube? I'm the Mind Flayer Slayer.
And I'm Dr. DM, and here we are with the first of 4 wizard subclasses, the Abjurer. This comes back from 2014. It was pretty beloved back then. Let's see if it still holds up. We're going to go through every single ability that's sketched from level 3 onwards, give you our take on it, let you know what's different from 2014 and 2024, and stick around until the end because we'll give you our tier ranking for this subclass when we finish. So, level 3.
Abjuration Savant. Choose 2 wizard spells from the Abjuration School, each of which must be no higher than level 2, and add them to your spellbook for free. In addition, whenever you gain access to a new level of spell slot in this class, you can add 1 wizard spell from the Abjuration School to your spellbook for free. The chosen spell must be for a level with which you have spell slots.
I like this because you can add to your spellbook without necessarily having to find scrolls or books somewhere like that for the build you're going for, in this case, Abjuration, which is kind of more defensive spells in that way. So it's nice.
Yeah, some free spells. Love free spells. At level 3, you have Arcane Ward. You can weave magic around yourself for protection. When you cast an Abjuration spell with a spell slot, you can simultaneously use a strand of the spell's magic to create a magical ward on yourself that lasts until you finish a long rest. The ward has a hit point maximum equal to twice your wizard level plus your intelligence modifier. Whenever you take damage, the ward takes the damage instead. And if you have any resistance or vulnerabilities, you can apply them before reducing the ward's hit points. If the damage reduces the ward hit points to 0 hit points, you take any remaining damage. While the ward has 0 hit points, it can't absorb damage, but its magic remains.
Whenever you cast an Abjuration spell with a spell slot, the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell slot used. Alternatively, as a bonus action, you can expend a spell slot, and the ward regains a number of hit points equal to twice the level of the spell expended. Once you create the ward, you can't make it again until a long rest. So my thought on this is the following. This is going to be your most defensive wizard, and you're really capitalizing on your Abjuration spells to make sure you have a healthy chunk of hit points, because normally you don't.
Squishy.
Yeah, so this is a good way to make sure your wizard has the defense it needs to get its big spells off, or it really can keep up whatever you need to keep up using Abjuration spells. Although, of course, none of these spells have really damage-dealing capabilities. Some of them are useful and can deal damage in different ways, such as Armor of Agathis, right? So a good way to keep your hit points up and do a little bit more.
At level 6, you have Projected Ward. When a creature you can see within 30 feet of yourself takes damage, you can take a reaction to cause your Arcane Ward to absorb the damage. If this damage reduces the ward to 0 hit points, the warded creature takes any remaining damage. If that creature has any resistances or vulnerabilities, again, apply them before reducing the ward's hit points.
Okay, so you're a defensive helper, if you will.
Yeah,
right?
for the rest of the team.
Yeah, you're sort of like pseudo-tanking. But to do this, you really have to just kind of keep buffing with Abjuration spells and throwing around your reaction once per turn to ward off damage when it's needed. I don't think this is exceptionally potent or anything, but it does give you some more utility.
Absolutely.
Level 10, you get Spellbreaker. You always have a counter spell and dispel magic spells prepared. In addition, you can cast the spell magic as a bonus action, pretty cool. Okay. And you can add your proficiency bonus to its ability check. When you cast either spell with a spell slot, that spell slot isn't expended if a spell fails to stop a spell. So it's like ongoing, lots of counters. You're the counter spell king here, stopping spells from happening. So yeah, you're kind of like the shield, the spell shield, a spelled wall for your party with hit points and with counterspells. Now, counterspell isn't as strong as it used to be in 2014, so keep that in mind. Spell magic is still pretty good, but you probably want to rely on counterspell mostly for how this works. Remember, if you do this, you counterspell with your reaction, you then can't shield somebody with the previous ability. It's a little bit of give and take there, so you really got to choose what you're doing every turn.
Yeah, be very thoughtful. At level 14, you have Spell Resistance. You have advantage on saving throws against spells, and you have resistance to the damage of those spells. This is huge.
This is pretty awesome.
I mean, being able to really reduce your damage already at earlier levels, but then getting up to level 14, advantage and resistance, wow, I mean, you're gonna be definitely very survivable.
Yeah, you're going to have the way to cast your high-level spells, 7, 8, 9. Make sure that you get them off and block incoming damage. And if you do take damage, because you're never going to be in the front line anyway, so resistance to like bludgeoning, piercing, stuff isn't as important as like resistance to damage of spells. And advantage, so you can't get like your mind controlled or whatever. It's pretty good. I mean, you take the wizard's main build and you give it like the defense that can survive to do what a wizard's supposed to do with their big spell book. It's a match made in Wizard Heaven, I think.
Absolutely.
Yeah, so for me, this is a solid B.
Actually, I have to say, I think this is closer to an A for me. It was beloved before. It's going to give you survivability, which is the thing that the wizard lacks the most of. And because you're able to take these known spells from your abjuration list, you can then focus your actual book on the spells that you want to be dealing damage with. So there are some pros and cons, but I would give this an A- at least.
Yeah, this is a really good subclass. I agree with that. I mean, there's some good abjuration spells at higher level, global vulnerability, things you can do really fun shenanigansy with. So yeah, overall, I love this subclass. Glad it's back, and it's been reworked a little bit to definitely have an advantage over what it was before.
Thank you so much for watching. If you've been enjoying this content, please remember to smite that like button, ring that notification bell, subscribe, and leave a comment down below. We love engaging with all of you in the comments. If you would like to support us more directly, you can go over to fanrolldice.com, where you can get various accoutrements, magical math rocks, and other shiny accessories. We have a partnership with them so that you can type in code GG10 at checkout, get 10% off your order, and we'll get a little bit of a kickback so we can continue leveling up this awesome content we bring to all of you amazing viewers.
And you can also click the join button here on our YouTube homepage, become a member on our channel, become a Green Squire, Green Knight, Green Lord, get extra little benefits, and support us directly if you can. We would appreciate it. Otherwise, we still appreciate you. Wizard, how about a duel? You'll never stop me.
Huh, you'll never stop me!
Give me your best spell, Yugi.
Lightning bolt!
Arcane Ward! Ah! I am impenetrable!
No!